At this point in your project design, you have a big idea that students will focus on. You've prompted a discussion on their experiences with this big idea, you've categorized their responses, and the categories have become a checklist for understanding the material that they will choose to focus on. In the last video, students chose a role to play, or you provided a list of roles for students to play, and hopefully they'll choose one while studying a specific interest that falls within that big idea. Maybe they've decided to make a documentary, an essay, a museum exhibit, a film, a podcast, a radio show. Now it's the teacher's job to look at each group's project idea and do three things. Number one, imagine the end result to some degree. Two, map out the components of the end result. And three, provide materials and prompts to help students make the end result that you have in mind. For example, if a group of 7th graders have decided that they want to make a documentary on the Civil War as one conflict under this big idea of conflict, the teacher has to imagine what this film might look like, its length, its scope, its sequence, etc. Secondly, the teacher needs to help students map out the components. The teacher may realize that they need a script, a set, some kind of costumes, different roles within the film studio, such as a producer, a director, a narrator, etc. Finally, the teacher needs to provide the models and guiding prompts to have students make all of these components become a reality. In the end, the teacher is guiding the construction of a multi-dimensional project that has relevance, meaning, and applicability to the real world. Imagine 2 or 3 kinds of projects that students might create with this big idea. Now think of the components that these projects might have. Make a list. What kinds of projects might students create, and what are the parts or the components of them? Remember, they're in a role. Make that list. Lastly, create a list of resources and prompts that you can give to students in order to fill the gaps of their thinking to create something of excellence.